Well, then I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay.
I would like to welcome everybody to the Washoe County Planning Commission, Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. We have a call to order. Can we have a determination of a quorum, please?
Larry Chesney.
Present.
Francine Donchik.
Present.
Thomas Bruce.
Present.
Sarah Chavelicek.
Here.
Kate Nelson.
Here.
Larry Payton is not present. And Patricia Phillips looks like is not present at this time. We do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. The next in order would be the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead that myself. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have, let's see, Council, the ethics law announcement, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Commissioners are reminded that if with respect to any matter or any person coming before the commission today, number one, you have received a gift or loan. Number two, you have a pecuniary interest. Number three, you have a commitment in a private capacity, such as a family, employment, business, or similar relationship. Or number four, you provided representation or counseling before an agency to a person or entity for compensation within the last year on a matter being considered. You please must disclose that gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation at the time the matter is being considered. And furthermore, you must abstain from deliberation or voting on the matter if it is clear that the gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation would materially affect the independence of judgment of a reasonable person. Commissioners are also reminded that under the Planning Commission rules, if you've had any contact outside this meeting with any persons interested in a matter coming before the commission today, you should disclose the nature of that contact at this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gustafson. I would like to announce that Commissioner Phillips has just signed in. And moving through that, Commissioner Phillips, you want to recognize the fact that you are with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thanks, Pat. All right. Next, we'll move on to the appeal procedure, and that would be Trevor Lloyd, our worthy secretary.
Most decisions rendered by the Planning Commission are appealable to the Board of County Commissioners. If you disagree with the decision of the Planning Commission and you want to appeal its action, you may do so in writing within 10 calendar days from the date that the decision being appealed is reduced to writing, filed with the Secretary of the Planning Commission and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Please call the planning staff immediately at 328-6100 for information on the appeal procedure and application fee.
Thank you. I guess we'll move on next to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I see no requests for public comment.
Well, moving right along then. I would ask for any comments or a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr.
Chair
Chairman.
Chesney, motion to approve.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Next, we'll move on to item 7, approval of the January 5th, 2021 draft minutes. Do we have any comments or corrections on the minutes for the January 5th meeting? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve those minutes.
Chair Chesney, Commissioner Donchik moves to approve.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner Nelson, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll move on to the public hearings. Hold on a second. Before we move on, I want to make an introductory statement. Any participants wishing to speak via Zoom shall sign in to Zoom with their first and last names and identify themselves with their first and last names when they are called upon. If you are a member of the public and you wish to speak, then please only click the raise your hand prompt symbol during the public comment portion of the item you wish to speak on. You will only be called upon to speak during the public comment periods. All panelists on Zoom should mute their mics until they're ready to speak. If anyone is having difficulty hearing the audio through Zoom, it may be helpful to use earbuds. If you plan to present through PowerPoint, please make sure that if you have made any changes to the presentation that you provide staff with, the exact PowerPoint presentation must be the same. Okay, so moving on to public comment. Oh, no, we did public comment. I'm sorry. Moving on to case number, special use permit case number WSUP 20-0024, Broken Hills. Secretary Lloyd, could you give us a brief explanation of the?
Will do, absolutely. This is for possible action hearing and discussion to approve a special use permit to allow up to 79 detached accessory dwelling units to be permitted by right within the approved Broken Hills development as permitted in the Spanish Springs area plan in Appendix C, Table C1, allowed uses for residential use types. Presenting this matter is planner Julie Olander.
Good evening, Julie Olander for the record with Planning and Building. Let me get my PowerPoint going and we can.
Okay, Julie, while we're waiting for that to come up, do any of the commissioners have any disclosures, ethics, or ex parte communication? Seeing that, thank you, Julie. You have the floor.
Why am I always? Good evening. The application before you is for a special use permit to allow detached accessory dwelling units within the Broken Hills subdivision as required per Spanish Springs area plan, Appendix C, Table C1, allowed uses, residential use types. Broken Hills is a subdivision that's located out in Spanish Springs off of Pyramid Highway. There's been a few units developed, but most of it is still undeveloped. The special use permit is being presented to the Planning Commission instead of the Board of Adjustment since the tentative subdivision map TM05-12 was heard and approved by the Planning Commission in 2005. The approved tentative subdivision map was for a 170 lot common open space subdivision on 243 acres, a portion of a 640 acre parcel. Broken Hills development is a traditional single-family residential development. However, the applicant is seeing an increased interest in detached accessory dwelling units, or DADs, and would like to offer the DADs to home buyers as they come in and purchase homes and lots. The applicant is requesting that 79 lots could be developed with DADs, and that the DADs will be located at the rear of the property behind the primary residence and will not impact the improved lot pattern. And here's a site plan showing the lot pattern. I know it's sort of hard to see. However, the best way of seeing it is where the DADs aren't possible. It's a little clearer in the sense that those lots are, you can sort of see that they just have numbers on it. The other ones are sort of blurry, and that's where the possible DADs could be located. The units will be approximately 530 square feet, and they'll include a kitchenette and bathroom. They'll match the architecture of the main residence with the same color of materials, and they'll meet all Washoe County code requirements. Here's a layout of the proposed accessory dwelling units. You can see I have a bathroom, a small kitchen, and a living space area. And then this is an exterior view. Public notice was sent to parcels within 500 feet of the site, and 120 notices were sent. It was presented to the Spanish Spring CAB on January 6th, and they unanimously approved the application. They had some questions about who could live in the units and the size of the units. Various agencies have reviewed the application, and comments are included in your staff report, and the agencies with conditions are included in the conditions of approval. There are the 5 findings for special use permit, and staff is able to make all 5 findings as detailed in the staff report. And I provide a possible motion. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Julie. Does the applicant have a presentation?
The applicant is should be here available, yes, and she's here. I see her.
How are you?
Stacey Huggins.
Mr. Chair, I have just a couple of slides to add to Julie's presentation if it is the pleasure of the commission.
Sure.
Okay, great. Let me get my screen sharing. Oh, hold on. There's so many buttons to push. I apologize.
No problem.
Oh, there we go. Okay, are you guys seeing my screen now? Yes, okay.
Yeah, we can see.
I really did a really great job of covering the project. So mission back in 2005 as a common open space development. The project at the time was designed under the MDS standards, even though it's zoned LDS. So there's a little bit of room in there for these additional accessory dwelling units within these parcels without exceeding the underlying zoning designation. So I know Julie mentioned her drawing was a little bit harder to see. I hope that this drawing, which shows the colored parcels that could accommodate based on setbacks and lot sizes, the potential accessory dwelling units. So the parcels colored in red represent the 79 lots that can accommodate the additional accessory dwelling units and still be under or at the 1 unit per acre density allowance. Julie talked about how these detached accessory dwelling units are allowed in the Spanish Springs area plan, and those are really defined as livable space that includes a permanent kitchen and a bathroom facility on the same lot as the main dwelling unit. That's what makes it different than, say, the detached accessory structure that's also permitted in the area plan. So just looking at these, and I provided both elevations and both kind of floor plans. I think what I want to just mention is that on these 79 parcels that were previously approved, homebuyers will have the option to either choose the accessory dwelling unit or choose a detached garage. And so I've provided here just the alternatives so that you can see some home buyers might really be interested in that accessory dwelling unit for an aging parent or a child that has moved home, whilst other people may prefer the detached garage. In both cases, we're talking about approximately 500 square feet, and it will be located behind the primary structure. The addition of these additional accessory dwelling units doesn't change the overall layout of the project or increase the water or sewer demands that were previously approved with the tentative map. So again, I think, we're talking about 79 up to 79 units if home buyers choose to go down that route. As Julie said, I'm also available to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Stacy. Do any of the commissioners have any questions of the applicant or staff? I'm not hearing anything, so I guess not. I guess, Stacy, what, just an off-the-wall question. So if a person buys this particular unit and decides not to add the accessory structure, do they still have the ability at a future date to add that structure under this proposal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I believe that code will allow them to do that, even in the future. Again, as long as it meets county code in terms of setbacks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you. So I guess the next place that if there's no further questions from
Chair Chesney,
staff, yes.
I do have a question for staff.
Well, Commissioner Savelicek.
Thank you. I tried to say that the last time, but I don't know if it's the connection or not. Julie, the only question I have is that in your PowerPoint, you said Spanish Springs Cab. In your written report, it says Gerlach Empire Cab. And I'm assuming that it definitely is Spanish Springs.
In my staff report, it says Gerlach?
Yes, it does, on page 8.
Because I'm looking at it and it says Spanish Springs on my printed out one, so I'm confused. So I'd have to go back and look. So it says.
Never mind, I'm on item, never mind.
Oh, okay.
We're golden.
I thought, wait a minute. That's all right. You're just one item ahead.
Down, so.
And that is the correct cab for that item. So you're good.
Thank you.
Okay. So, is there any public comment on this? Okay.
I see no hands raised for public
There's a
comment.
raised hand there somewhere.
That was Sarah.
Oh, okay. All right. So, seeing there's no public comment, is there any further questions from the commission of the applicant or the staff? Be seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'm going to bring it back and call for discussion. Is there any discussion on the proposal? Seeing none, I would call for a motion.
Chair Chesney, Commissioner Donchik.
Commissioner Donchik.
I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and information received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Planning Commission approve with conditions special use permit case number WSUP 20-0024 for Barker Coleman Investments / Broken Hills Limited, having made all 5 findings in accordance with Washoe County Code section 110.810.30.
Good.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Nelson.
Commissioner John Donchik did the motion, and do we have a second?
Commissioner.
Oh, Commissioner Bruce seconds. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. And Stacy, I'm telling you that this type of development is very well appreciated in this environment and future environments. And I think it's very innovative. And I really appreciate the fact that Toll Brothers, I believe it is
Yes.
Looking ahead like this. Thank you.
Great. We appreciate your comments and thank you for giving us this chance tonight.
Okay, you bet. All right, moving right along. The next item conditional use permit for Fish Springs Solar Special Use Permit, case number WSUP 20-001. And I would ask Secretary Lloyd to give us a brief description of this.
Thank you. This is for possible action, hearing, and discussion to approve an amendment of conditions of approval for WSUP 20-0001 Fish Springs Solar to increase the approved grading from 351,000 cubic yards of cuts and 337,000 cubic yards of fill to a total of 773,306 cubic yards of cuts and 715,401 cubic yards of fill. Representing Washoe County in this matter is Staff Planner Dan Colon.
Thank you. Do we have a staff presentation on this? It would be
Is it not
Mr.
showing?
King.
Is it not sharing?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can see it, Dan. I can see it. Looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Dan Colon for the record. I have WAC 20-0004 for WSEP 20-0001 Fish Springs Solar. So the applicant is requesting to increase the amount of approved grading. This boils down to more than doubling the amount of cut and fill, and therefore increasing the amount of footprint that is required for the substation, as well as temporary water storage in order to mitigate dust impacts. Just a refresher for all of the Planning Commission, this is the rough location of Fish Springs Solar, roughly 45 miles north of downtown Reno, and you can see the zoomed in right around the Fort Sage substation. The grading plans are updated per the applicants. They show increased grading for the substation, roadways, and drainage. There's a lot of drainage on these parcels in order to make sure that it complied with the original conditions of approval. And likewise, we're seeing drainage and roadways on the eastern side of the site. This is pretty straightforward. The applicant is requesting to increase the amount of grading because they went and engineered it. So they came up with revised calculations. These calculations exceeded the normal 10% substantial conformance that planning staff uses to review plans. And there are no requests to modify the grading standards. All of these will have to meet code, and that will be applied at the building permit stage for the grading permits. Staff has taken this opportunity to clarify the original conditions. Originally, the plans were required to conform with 438, 45 through 70. Staff is requiring them to meet all 438, which would include 100, which requires NDEP permits, as well as requiring a noxious weed plan in accordance with High Desert Policy 2.2. Public notice was provided to the same property owners within 750 feet of the site. And the Gerlach Empire CAB met on January 11th and discussed concerns about drainage, on-site detention, and road maintenance. There was no vote by the CAB, but there was a general approval noting the initial conditions of WSUP 20-0001 covered the main issues there. Therefore, staff is able to make all 5 findings and recommends approval of the amended conditions of approval. And I have provided a possible motion for your convenience. And I'm available for any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Do we have any questions of staff at this time? Hearing none. Does the applicant have a presentation that they would like to offer?
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Kathleen Campanella, and I'm the developer for the Fish Springs Ranch Solar Project. We don't have a presentation this evening, but I am accompanied by our project manager, Bill Watson, as well as our environmental project manager, Eric Koster, and are available for any questions should you have any.
Okay, do we have any questions from the commission, of staff, or the applicant?
Pat Phillips.
Commissioner Phillips, you're recognized.
Yes, I'm not sure because I have not been involved in this before. do they have to come before us for any kind of lines that will carry the power?
No, this facility is not dealing with the use type of the power lines. That was approved last March. In terms of the distance for the power lines, this site is adjacent to the Fort Sage substation. So there's no power line, it's just a substation connected to a substation across property lines.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
What we have before us here is as projects come from conceptual to fruition, change site conditions. And in this case, it's a matter of they got to move more dirt. They got to put more dirt in as the engineers figured it all out and made it happen. So that's my take on it. And it's up for discussion. If there is no discussion, I'll call for public comment. Let me give you an opportunity to have more discussion. Hearing none. Okay, we'll move to public comment.
I see no request for public comment.
Having no public comment.
Oh, pardon. Larry, just
yes.
a moment, please. It looks like we did have somebody put up a hand, so.
Okay, bring it on.
I will give her permission to speak.
Good evening. This is Elizabeth Gambrell, Gerlach Empire Cab Vice Chairman. And I would like it noted for the record, though, that we listened to this at our last meeting. It was not on our agenda, so we could not make any decisions on it. We are still behind the project. We'd just like it noted for the public that we were not included in the process in the appropriate manners. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, we have public comment. Is there any other further public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission for any discussion. Seeing none. Well, there we go. Okay, Commissioner Savelicek.
Yes, I just, can staff address the question about why this wasn't properly agendized for the cab?
To be honest with you, Commissioner Savelicek, I'm not entirely sure why it wasn't on the agenda. There may have been an oversight on my part where I didn't take a look at the agenda. I did reach out to the Gerlach Cab before the meeting, so that way they had the opportunity to discuss it and put it on the record in order to make sure that we had that opportunity to discuss this.
Thank you, Dan. I want to go on the record that it's really critically important that the citizens have an opportunity to have input through the CAB process. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Savelicek. I respect your understanding. Any further comments?
Second,
Commissioner Bruce.
I would like to second Commissioner Savelicek's comments.
I agree.
If I may, and I don't have it in front of me, but I know Gerlach Empire, the CAB does not meet monthly, and I don't know if this was one of the times that they just weren't meeting. We will certainly look into that and provide you with an answer as to why it was not scheduled.
Because even when items are not agendized and it's off their regular schedule, they're sent a comment sheet, correct? To be able to provide input?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, you're recognized.
Thank you. This was a attended meeting. It was not agendized. They did have the opportunity to discuss it off of the agenda and part of a additional comment after the agendized items. There's just no vote on it. So I apologize for missing it on the agenda, but I tried to make sure that the CAB had the ability to recognize and discuss this, and we went over in detail the original conditions of approval. And I'm sure Elizabeth Gambrell can discuss that if you want to recognize her.
Okay. Are there any further questions from the commission to staff or the client or the applicant? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment and call for a motion. Do we have a motion?
Chair Chesney, Commissioner Donchik.
Commissioner Donchik.
I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report, information received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Planning Commission approve amendment of conditions case number WAC 20-0004 for Fish Springs Ranch, having made all 5 findings in accordance with Washoe County Code 110.810.30.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Nelson.
Who's the second?
Commissioner Nelson.
Commissioner Nelson is the second.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Kate. All right, we have first and second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. It passes unanimously. And thank you. We will move on to, we will leave planning and public hearings items, and we will move on to item 9, chair and commission items. Are there under any future agenda items? Hearing none, I'll move on to a request for information from staff.
Chair Chesney.
Commissioner Savilicek.
Thank you. Mr. Lloyd, the commission has been receiving multiple emails regarding, I believe it was on the commission agenda today for Incline Village. So does the public understand that they were commenting to the BCC, or were they expecting? We've been receiving these messages for weeks. So it's just, and of course I don't reply to any of them, but this item was heard on the commission agenda today, correct?
That is correct, yes. And let me just clear the air. We did have a meeting last night, very well attended, with the Incline Village Crystal Bay Cat. You're referring to short-term rentals. This planning commission already heard it, and it sent it forward to the VCC. We made that very clear. The short-term rentals will be heard on the February 23rd agenda for the county commission. It's not coming back, at least not at this point, not that I'm aware of. It's not coming back to the county commission.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Secretary Lloyd, Commissioner Donchik, just as an input, I know that I've mentioned that over 2 years ago, I put a cancellation on my Washoe County email address and wanted everything to come to my personal, so that when Sarah mentioned all these emails, I have not seen any of them. So I'm wondering if that still has not been chopped.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner. We will look into that and make sure that everything is directed to your other email and not the Washoe County.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Do we have any other requests for information from staff? Going once, going twice. Okay, we're moving on. Directors and legal counsel items. Report on previous commission items.
Got some fun ones to report on. It's been long overdue, but Tahoe area plan was finally adopted by BCC. It does need to go on to regional now, Tahoe regional planning, and that could take a while, but at least the major hurdle. So we've overcome that part of it. Also, the BCC adopted the amendments to Article 434 and 822, cooperative planning, as well as Article 412, landscaping, another one that has been long overdue. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trevor. And I want to take this opportunity to commend Senior Planner Eric Young on the almost impossible task of putting the Tahoe plan together. I mean, it was a monumental task, and he deserves every kudo he could possibly get. And to juggle all those balls together, I mean, the guy's good. And we have him working on now the master plan and the master plan amendments, and I think I'm looking really forward to the fantastic work that he does. So that's my comment on that. So we're going to move along here to, do we have any legal information updates? And that would be Council Gustafson.
Thank you. No, there's no additional legal updates or anything today. Just nice, easy meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. So is there any final public comment?
Can I have a public comment?
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to take the time to recognize our newest legal counsel, Jen Gustafson. I don't know if you've all had a chance to work with her one-on-one yet. She's sharp. She's fantastic, and we're lucky to have her.
I'd like to.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are. Hey, not that Nate was second rate, but
no.
Jen, you've done a wonderful job, and we really appreciate your support. Okay, so we got any final public comment? Did I go through that yet? No, I don't think so.
I do not see any other requests for public comment.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Seeing no public comment, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, Commissioner Donchak, we are adjourned.
Take care, everybody.